Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. So today we have a special guest. I'm super excited. It seemed like it's been forever, but today is the day. And before I introduce you to our special guest, I want to tell you a few things that he's associated with. One, he is an artist. Number two, he has what I really want to know more about this. He believes in community over competition. We're definitely going to talk about that. And one more thing, he said he is a desert crawler. We definitely need to find out more about that. So if everybody can put your hands together and we give a warm welcome to Gio! Yay! Hey, welcome, Gio!
Hi, how's it going? Yeah,
Good, how are you?
doing all right. I kind of just woke up. I've been in bed. I was like, oh, it's time for the podcast. So
Listen, we keep it real on here. So thank you for taking the time to meet with me. And we're just gonna, before we get started, I just want to tell them a little bit of how we originally connected. So I think it was maybe 2 years ago. You were at a rec center, the East Las Vegas Community or Rec Center. And I walked in and you were beginning or in the beginning process of completing a mural.
mhm.
And I was like, okay, what I saw was amazing. I was like, oh, I can't wait. So anyway, I think a year later, I end up seeing the completion part. And can I say, dope, dope, dope. And I
Thank you.
really identified with it because I saw fragments of who I was, but who everyone else was. So if you can start by just telling us a little bit of why you created that and what brought that forward.
Well, I designed the mural that way because the community center is where I grew up, and I feel like it's a very kind of multicultural community center, and there's all kinds of people show up there, and like are part of that community, part of that neighborhood. So when I got the opportunity to submit to this, it was an open call. I kind of had a good idea of what I want to do, and some of those characters on the mural I've had for years, like
Oh,
before I even started. And like I knew I wanted to use them. I the One of the main characters, there's ones with like shades on there, and that's kind of
yes.
it's kind of like a self-portrait, and I made that one during like my first trip to Texas, and kind of experiencing the community there was like really inspired. There was this little event in the museum out there in Austin called the Mexicarte Museum, and they had some stickers that you kind of made up. And so I just made this like funny kind of character with the shades and stuff, and I really liked it. I went home, I designed it on my computer, uh, and I've had that design forever. I kept trying to make other like characters that could fit into that, and it was kind of like it's if you look at the design, it's very like cultural ancestor to like
Yes.
my ancestors, like the indigenous people of like Latin America, well, what is now like Mexico and South America, Central America. um but yeah, I took a lot of that imagery and I use that a lot in my art as a connection to my ancestors. um but I don't know, I just wanted to kind of modernize them and really display them and show people themselves in a different way. Yeah, so that's why I did that mural. I don't know if that went a little too long.
No, no, it didn't. That's what we're here to discuss, that to give a perspective. But let's talk about the one that I thought was really got my attention, the one with the tongue out.
The one with the yeah, the one with the glasses, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, with the tongue and the glasses. This is what you were referring to, right?
Yes.
Yes. I
Um,
that was the first one that captured my attention. You go, okay, because it feels modern, but it feels very ancestry, like you said.
yeah, like I said, that's a self-portraiture. To me, the tongue out is very silly. And I actually did another, I also do sculpture, not just like murals and stuff, but I did another piece recently where it's another self-portrait with my tongue out. So that's kind of funny. And in that one, I'm dressed kind of like a clown, so it's a little bit more on that silliness. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, I really enjoyed that imagery and it really resonated with myself. But the actual image is from like people call it the Aztec calendar. And
Hmm.
if you look at that, there's a central image with the tongue out, and it's part of like the Mexica culture. But yeah, I took that image and just kind of made it me.
Well, it definitely stands out, and I enjoy it every time I go through. Um, I look at, and I'm not there often, but I
Mhm.
love that I feel like each particular one represent the different hues of us, and not necessarily our race, but the different hues. Like one, it looked like it can be one of my ancestors with the curly hair and the broadness and everything. And I was like, wow, I love the variety. Where did
Mhm.
you get that particular image and how did that come about for that one?
So that figure is derived from um, this deity called Xochipilli, and they're kind of seen as androgynous, but they're also
Mm,
called the prince of like flowers. Um, and I really like that figure, so I I took it like some of the symbols like in those earrings or like gauges. There's like these flowers that kind of look like mushrooms as well,
mm-hmm.
something that's also associated with Xochipilli. So I use that, and I really like plants, so I put some monsteras on there as well. I don't know, yeah, I don't know if you could see all my plants back there.
I'm a well, we just connected because I am a plant girl, so I love
Yeah.
that.
um but yeah, as in concern to like the skin tone, I felt like it's very important for everyone to be able to see themselves, and people with darker skin tones usually are not represented well. And murals are like these really big community projects, so I definitely want everybody to like see themselves in it. And Latin America, like Black people exist. I feel like a lot of people don't really know that or think about that, and like it makes sense to have everyone represented.
Yeah. I think that was very courageous of you to do so because sometimes the propaganda is encouraged not to do so. And you just see one lens or one point of view. So thank you for doing that. And what you're doing, you're speaking to the visionary part of the children when they come in, even though they may think, oh, I'm just looking at this. You don't know how you're imparting on a frequency to them. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be done. It just it's the right thing to do. It's like natural for me, and yeah, I have gotten a lot of compliments and like kind of um like those affirming things. Was like, yeah, I really saw myself in that, and that just makes me want to do it more. I
That's
love
awesome.
spreading that joy. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, I have to jump from what we talked about to the third thing when I introduced you. We gotta go to this. Tell me what is desert crawler? what
Uh,
it is all about. I think it's a dope, it gets your attention, but you got to dial down and tell us what it's about.
I don't know. It's just something that maybe I think I have a shirt that says Desert Crawler on it that I got, and I really liked it. When I was growing up here, I hated the desert. Like, I wanted to escape it. I was originally born in California, and like I was only there for 6 months, like living there, and then moved over here. So I've been in Las Vegas like my whole life. But I would go back and visit family, and like I really like the greenery there. It's so fresh, and like the ocean stuff. I was like, "Ah, the desert, there's nothing." But with my like plant kind of obsession, I actually have like probably close to 100 plants in general, and most of them
Wow.
are cacti, agave, and like aloes and stuff. And those are like part of the desert, and that really kind of got me started appreciating the desert more and like the landscape. And yeah, the desert's beautiful. I feel bad for like not appreciating it growing up. Uh, but yeah, so I've been really leaning into that and being out in the desert. So when I was thinking of things to write on my like social media, I was like, oh yeah, desert crawler, you know. It makes sense. Like I love it so much. And uh when I go hiking, like I'll just stop and like look at everything and study things. And I don't know that, but
That-
that's where it came from. I haven't had anybody ask me that before, so
well,
that's
I couldn't wait. That stood out more than anything. I said, I cannot wait to find out what was behind Desert Crawler. But okay, I get it. And you're right. It does take time sometimes for you to appreciate where
Mhm.
you're at. It's stages to it. But once you get to the stage of appreciation, now you can see all the little or big beauty
Mhm.
of the desert and how it's amazing that something so little can still, even though it's a desert, can still maintain and thrive
Mhm.
and continue to go. And you're like, wow, for me, that's my perspective.
Yeah, no, I see that too. Like the way that life sustains itself out here and has to evolve in order to live, it's pretty amazing. It's a lot of um I feel like translated to people, that's a lot of hard work, a lot of determination. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And it makes me think I went to the Grand Canyon a couple of years ago and we were going to different little spots. And one spot they had a teepee and it's in the desert. So it was hot outside, but we went in the teepee and it was literally like 70 degrees. It was so cool in there. And to look at it, it looks like it's a little bit of nothing and it would never be cool, but it's some kind of process that they knew to put together, and it was amazing to go in there. It's like inside outside, like air conditioned, not air conditioned. So our ancestors, the natives of the land, has learned to adapt and be in tune with the ecosystem to maintain and be a part of the desert.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like we don't give enough credence to the people that live or have lived here for like centuries, and like how they know what's going on. They know um, how to live and what things that need to be like taken from the desert to sustain themselves, but also sustain the environment. And like, yeah, that also is like something very amazing, like
It
that
is.
sustainability.
I definitely agree with you on that. One thing I truly noticed about you as I kind of did my discovery that you're really, really huge supporter of vendors.
hmm
I like that. Where does that piece come from? Is it because you were a vendor or you really see the benefit of the vendors being a part of Las Vegas?
So I like one thing about me is I really feel like workers need more support. And yeah, like street vendors are a big thing over here and in California. And you always see videos of them getting like kicked off like the street, and they're just trying to make their living. like it's hard out here. So I feel like, yeah, it's supporting vendors and like people that are working just to make a buck, to support their families and stuff. I think that's very important. There's a group out here called Fifth Sun Project, and they do all these like support your street vendor kind of events. And I've been really associated with them. Like I've helped them out with like merch, and I've even played like this last one that we had. Uh, it was fun because I dressed up like as this kind of character, and that they were calling me Mr. Sonidero, and which is the name of their event. And I don't know, it was really fun. I think it takes a lot of fun and community to help the rest of your community, and they do that really well. So I'm very passionate about helping them with those kind of things. And I feel like it's very big in my culture too. Like if I'm out going for food, I'll stop at like street vendors. I'll stop at like a little taco stand or like something that a family set up outside of their house. And I feel like um, it feels like home to me. So it's something
Yes.
very comfortable, and I could just talk to them. That's usually where I do most of my Spanish speaking when I'm ordering food.
Are you
Or
good at it, or do you forget sometime what to say?
with food, I think I'm really good for it. Conversational, I'll get stuck on like a word that I never use.
Mm.
And that it gets frustrating. But when I'm ordering food, I'm like solid. And that's my language, food.
So you're a foodie.
Oh yeah, I love eating.
Well, hey, it's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's really wonderful to support. I know in front of my daughter's school, she goes on the east side of town,
Mhm.
and it's predominantly Hispanic in there. So when we go for after school projects, or it's an event from school, it's a couple of vendors out there. And she's like, Mom, can I get some corn? Or can I get something? So we try to support as well. Sometimes the lines are too long, like, nope, not today, let's go. But that's a part of the culture, and it just is seamless. So we know that everybody needs to be able to make a living. And I'm seeing it more in the last, I say, 2 to 3 years. It has been from one side of town and it's increased to the other side of town. So I'm seeing it more. So yeah, thank you for bringing that to our attention and really shining light on the need for that.
Yeah, of course. I feel like a lot of younger people too are participating in like vending and stuff, and I feel um, like there's a lot of markets that go on around, and I feel like that's really derived from like yard sale and like swap meet culture.
Yes.
Like so it's kind of fun seeing how now it's in vogue, uh, and it's a lot of stuff that like my generation and like even like Gen Z, that like they'll go to that. And yeah, it's fun to see.
And think it's really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. And you support your peers as well. Like a lot of artists um do vending. I haven't myself. It's been a while since the last kind of vending thing that I did. I'm focusing more on like trying to do big projects, but vending is definitely something that I've been looking at because it's a little bit more steady in income.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, definitely thank you for shining the light, because I want this platform to be multi-generational, multi-point of view. And a lot of times, if it's not said, the other big
Hmm.
things overshadow it. So thank you for even bringing that to our attention. So we want to have a little bit of fun and talk about music. Music. I love music. It has taken over my spirit, and I love it. So I always ask my guests to identify a song that has either blessed you, distracted you, or given you some perspective in life. Now, before you answer, sir,
Hmm.
there's rules to this. If You can sing. I need you to sing your throw box out. Did you just put your hand over your face? Now, if you can't sing, you can rap, come hard in the paint. You know what that is. But if you cannot do either one, I ask you to say your lyrics boldly and with meaning and convey what you mean and mean what you say. So, can you identify a song that either blessed you, distracted you, or giving you some perspective in life?
Um, I guess something for perspective. Um, so it's a funny song, and this is a lot of Latin American music is like this. It's like really fun to dance to and stuff, but if you listen to the lyrics, they are wild. Like they'll talk about some of the most either depressing stuff or just like messed up, like what is going on with the life. Uh, but this is a bit of a newer song. It's by this artist named E Arenas and
Oh, say that again.
E Arenas.
Okay.
And that's just like his name. He's the bassist of this other band called Chicano Batman, which I might talk about later.
Okay.
But he has this song called Marijuana,
Mm,
and the translation of it is sea iguana, right?
okay.
But when you say it, you know what you're saying. It's marijuana, like
Yes.
that's what he's singing about. And so it's like a really fun song. The music video is weird. He's dressed up like a lizard and he's like bouncing around. But in the song, he starts saying, and these are going to be in Spanish, but
That's okay.
Espérate, ¿será paranoia o será claridad? No que a mis compadres los iban a sacar. So basically what he's saying is like, hold on, like, am I being paranoid or is like, am I seeing clearly? But when they're gonna get let go of all my friends, like when they're gonna let them go. So he's talking about the decriminalization of like marijuana.
Mm,
No, not the legalization, but not decriminalization. So it's like
mm.
it's legal now, but people are still in jail and prison, and like when they're gonna get them out, like wasn't this gonna change the system? And so he's like being critical of that in a really fun, like it's a quebradita song. And I don't know if any of your like listeners know what quebradita is, but it's like,
They probably don't, but that's why we have you on so you
look it
can
up.
tell us.
Look it up. It's like this, it's a dance style where people are just like swinging them around. It's kind of like swing, and it's a lot of like boot stepping, I guess you could say. It's very fun, but it's that style of music with these lyrics and
Okay.
criticizing that system.
Which we all know it affects all of us, and it can be
Yeah,
something just as simple. And they're like locked up for 20 years for marijuana. You're like,
it's the
okay.
third, yeah, the third strike rule, and like
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous.
So let me ask you a question. So originally, when you first heard the song, was it the music that got your attention? And then secondly, you paid attention to the lyrics, or you paid attention to the lyrics first? And then,
So the music was fun. Like that's the first thing I heard, and I do like looking up lyrics, especially if I really like the song, or like, oh, I hear something, like, oh, what did he say, and then look up the lyrics, and then I read them and I was like, oh wow, like that's true. He's talking about some true stuff there. uh,
yes.
but yeah, no, I tend to like music by like the dance ability. Like I can't sing. I actually used to be in a band and write lyrics for my band, but I can't sing. I could play bass and I could dance though.
Well,
Well,
listen, you contributing to the music, okay?
yeah.
That's awesome. Can you, so I'll always ask this particular question. We all have our ups and downs, and I'm pretty sure being an artist, you definitely have to be self-motivated. It has to be a passion that is deep within, because sometimes being an artist, everybody won't resonate with you, or you're not always popular. I say all that to say, is there a song when no one is around and no one is there to encourage you or to pick you up, is there a particular song that you can identify that lifts your spirit up? It encourages you when you're down.
So I did say I was going to talk about Chicano Batman, and now it's that time. So that's the name of the band. It's a funny name too, Chicano Batman. Like that, it's the imagery is funny. But they have a song called "Freedom Is Free,"
Mm.
and it's one of their newish songs. I really enjoyed it. I feel like when it came out, there was a lot of political stuff going on, and it's just like so this was kind of like a protest song for that, and I still really enjoy it. And the lyric uh that I really like, it's from the chorus, is freedom is free and that's the way it's going to be. Freedom is free because no amount of negativity can put a dent in me. So I feel like, yeah, those
Ooh.
are really good lyrics, and I mean, that's definitely an encouraging song. Yeah.
Yes, I like that. Freedom is free. That's the way it's going to be. Freedom is free. And what was the last part?
Because no amount of negativity can put a dent in me.
Wow. That's a bar. That can go on any level.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it. Okay, you're gonna make me go check out that song. Do they say it in the native language or they say it in English?
Yeah, they say it in English. They have songs in both English and Spanish, and actually they have some in Portuguese as well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So was that once you heard that particular song, then you became a fan of their music?
Oh, I was already a fan of their music for a while. When I started getting into them, this song came out maybe a year after I started listening to them. So I was already really deep into their discography. I like own a lot of their albums over there. I even got one of their originals signed, and
Oh,
I'm
nice.
a big fan.
Well, that's good to know. I want to just go back and talk about you had mentioned, or I had mentioned about community over competition.
Mhm.
That as well stood out for me. And if you could talk a little bit about what the impetus for that was and why you strongly believe in that.
So I feel like in like the society we live in, we're kind of made to like compete with each other. Like, oh no, you have to be better than that person. You have to do that. And even growing up and being in a band, it's like we have to be the best band. Like, oh no, like look at them, they're not as good or whatever. And it was always a lot of drama, and like competition really fueled that. I feel like it wasn't what people call healthy competition. It's
Mhm.
just trying to step over each other to get something. And growing up, I was like, yeah, that's really toxic. It doesn't really help anybody. And at the end of the day, if you like lose, you get mad. And that's not going to help you out either. And eventually you're going to lose. You can't win all the time. So I feel like doing stuff with a group of people, with your community, and like building together is much more sustainable. And I think like if you lose, everybody's gonna be losing as well, but at least they're still there to support you. And if you win, everybody wins.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think it's much more beneficial to everybody to like really come together and work together and build things that they want to see.
Yeah, I like the community engagement, but I also like the piece you talked about with negative competition. Like sometimes people will say, "Oh, do whatever you have to do," at the
Mhm.
detriment that now that energy that you put out, now you're gonna owe it back, and it may be something that happened to you at another time because you put this really negative, like I don't care, I'll do any kind of thing energy out there. So. Thank you for giving us some insight to that. And can you provide who is your favorite artist and why? Music artist and why?
So there's this band called Arctic Monkeys. And when I was in a band, I really listened to them a lot. But my favorite member of that band is the singer and like lead songwriter. His name is Alex Turner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like when I was writing lyrics, he was very inspirational. Like the way that he writes his words is really nice, like the kind of visual imagery that he talks about. Um, I actually have a song like that I really enjoy the lyrics in by them. It's called "Love Is a Laser Quest."
Ooh.
Yeah, like "Love Is a Laser Quest." That already kind of like you think about Laser Quest in the mall and stuff.
Yeah.
How could love be like that? You know, it really makes you think. Um, so one of my favorite lines in that song is and when I'm hanging on by the rings around my eyes and I convince myself I need another, and for a minute it gets easier to pretend that you were just some lover. So
Ooh.
it's like the imagery of the hanging on by the rings around my eyes, you just think about someone swinging on there on rings around eyes, but then you also think about someone that's just like, you know, like that, like really tired looking and just kind of sad. um I don't know, I really like dark eye circles. I like that aesthetic, but it's very, the way he writes it's very romantic. Yeah.
It also forces you to really think about it, like the
Mhm.
first time you hear it, but as you think about it, you go, oh, okay, it gives you perspective. I like lyrics that make you really think about it, but also gives you the perspective. It can be multiple things in one
Mhm.
particular view. So I like that. Love is a laser quest.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Even the title alone could make you things that make you go, hmm. I like that. I like that. So I want to talk about what was your impetus or the foundation for you to even be an artist? What sparked your fire for this?
um so it's I was in a band, right? And we broke up and stuff ended kind of not good. Like I don't really talk to my bandmates anymore.
Uh-oh.
And so I was like, I still have to do something creatively. And since I was a kid, I used to draw a lot. So I was like, oh, let me just try to do. Oh, and also do graphic design. And I did a lot of the logos and like stickers and merch for my band, like album covers. I did all that.
Wow.
So I was really into art already, like visually, but it was mostly digital work. Um, so I was looking to start doing something different. I was like, okay, maybe I could be a graphic designer and let me see what that's about and go to school for it. I took a semester of that at CSN, and it was fun, but also like kind of easy because I was already beyond that level.
Mm.
And I kind of just gave up on it and decided to just make pins or like merch, you know, go out there and be like this art vendor. Um, but that didn't happen, and some bad things happened in life, with like my job and whatnot. And so that didn't pan out. I had to go back to work, and for another good minute, I didn't do much. And then 2018, I want to say, I went to this event, and my actually my old bandmates were in their new band were playing that event, so I went to like go and still be a friend there. But
That was good. That was
yeah, that was
good.
good. Because my roommate at that time was our lead singer, so like we're still friends at that point. It's been more like recently that we're not. Um, but Yeah, it was a cool event. They were invited to play, and it was oddly or not oddly, I guess this is where my whole thing comes from. The event was a talk about community.
Mm.
and it was by this the speaker was Alison Yanez. She used to live here. I think she moved recently. Oh, sorry, my cat is over here asking for but yeah, she was talking about community, and she started talking about these things that we could do, and I asked a question about like, oh, okay, like I know that there's a lot of like multi-generational events I used to go to as a kid and stuff, and they're still around. But I was like asking for events that were more like people my age and like young adults at that time. I guess I can't really, I'm 30 now, so
You're still young.
yeah, I'm still young, but it seems weird saying it out loud to young adults. Uh, so she kind of got stumped on that question, and I was like, oh, okay. Like she's like, oh, I'm sorry I couldn't give you an answer and stuff, but sometimes you have to do it yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. That's how I kind of started thinking about doing things and creating things that I want to see people enjoy. And then she also mentioned this other podcast that's been off air for a while called Latinos Lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a podcast by two Las Vegas artists. Well, one artist, one art professor, but I still consider that part of the art. So it was a queer like Latino podcast, and it was really fun to listen to. They talked a lot about the art scene here and like their own travels, because they would travel a lot. And it took me a while to realize that they were from here. But once I found that out, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I got to find these people. I got to see what they're about. And the person who was still here, his name is Justin Favela, and he's a piñata artist. Really cool work. So I went to one of his gallery exhibitions that he had at UNLV at the Barrick Museum there. And like I was nervous. Like I thought this guy was like a really big artist and stuff. But once I kind of got the courage to talk, we started talking. I said that I was a graphic designer, and he's like, "Oh, cool. I'm actually working on a coloring book. Do you want to design it?" And I was like, "Oh, like just like that, like you know." And so I accepted it. It took a while to finish. Like other stuff were going on in my life. But I did it, and like kind of working with him like really made me look at the art he did, and I got interested in creating my own things. And long story short, I guess like that really influenced me to be an artist, like working with other artists and seeing the amount of community that was involved, and like being able to express my ideas and like these kind of like the murals in these bigger formats than just on the screen, because that was always an issue, like how to get stuff on my screen to the physical world.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he really encouraged me and like kind of was a mentor to me for that. So yeah,
That's amazing. I'm always curious about the story. Like a lot of times people see what you put out, but what was the connection? What was the impetus? What was the story that brings it about? So you're really a self-starter. You really encourage yourself to do so, along with the people around you has influenced you. And from the looks of it, will continue to influence you, whether it's with vendors, it's with murals. I saw something recently where you had like this, it looks like a fire. It was out in the desert, or
yeah.
Can you talk about just a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that is based off of a meme.
Oh.
I don't know if the "This Is Fine" meme with the little dog in the burning house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's based off of that, and just kind of being able to sit there while the world's on fire and like all this stuff going on. So I decided to just make those flames go big, and like where can I was part of this like this exhibition called the Bullfrog Biennial, and they invited me to come do a sculpture and like tour the desert out there. And then I saw this big trash pile, and I was like, why is this trash here? Like, and why can't we remove it? Um, so I was kind of doing a take on like environmentalism at that point. And the more I learned about that pile of garbage that was there, the more that I kind of started seeing the piece differently. And like I started learning about old mining towns out
Mm.
there, and how they're kind of just built up, and then once the resource is drained, they get destroyed.
Oh,
Yeah, like those towns really, this was out in Rhyolite, and that's one of the ghost towns out there that started to as a mining town, and then it just turned into a ghost town. That's why we have so many of them out here.
wow.
But yeah, then I started seeing that a different way. Like the flames were kind of, I kind of modeled them after protest signs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they started to be like a form of protest in a performative way, through art. Um, but yeah, I just planted them there, and I then started planting them in other spots that I wanted to protest. And they kind of became their own symbol, and like, um, yeah, like this is not fine, you know?
Yeah, I like that. You mentioned just a few minutes ago how you wanted to take your graphic art
Mhm.
from the, I guess, the visual, the computer world to the physical world.
Mhm.
And when you think that that's an example of it, because you talked about the mean that it was
Yeah.
encouraged by. So you've gone through that cycle where, okay, I'll take it here, I'll take it there. And now it's at the protest where I really want people to understand what's going on behind the scene. Why is this even there?
Yeah, most definitely. I really like internet culture too. It's really wild, like the things that people come up with sometimes, and or the images that they use to convey different feelings. Um, yeah, just taking that digital and like placing it out there. And most of my work that I make in like that kind of scale, like the murals and that installation, I designed digitally, so I started with it on the computer.
Wow, wow. So that's a good way. And somebody may be watching and they can say, wow, all this stuff that I did digital, I can literally take it
Mhm.
and bring it into this reality and do so. So thank you for sharing that because someone may be watching with that. Here is my favorite part. I always talk about high elevation, high energy. Like to me, when you see a group of people participating and singing a song together, 9 times out of 10 is high elevation. I'll give you birthday song. If you hear birthday song together, now I've been in a Mexican restaurant, I've been in a regular restaurant, you hear happy birthday and people can be at the table and they'll sing and clap as if they know you. And it's really high energy. Can you identify a song that you either participated in or you watched and it was high energy and you can give us like, it was like, ooh.
So talking about birthday parties and like really any kind of fun party, there's whether especially where there's a DJ, for like Mexican parties. There's a song. It's it's a little weird.
That's okay.
Like I don't know. It's so the name of the song is El Sa Sa Sa, and
Okay.
it's by this group called Climax or Climax, and it's really about people at tables clapping. And so
Oh,
people, when this song goes, like everybody's singing it, the lyrics are very simple. It's just, I'll sing this one. Sa 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 ya tu sa ya tu sa 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 ya tu sa ya tu sa. Mesa que más aplauda sí, mesa que más aplauda no. And then it continues, but
I like
like everybody just
that.
kind of clapping and having fun and singing the song, and like just sa is really fun to sing and dance to.
I
Uh
can see myself even doing that. You're going side,
yeah,
side, side.
yakuza, yakuza. Yeah, it's just a festive song. They play especially like at quinceañeras, like everybody,
Mm.
or weddings. Everybody's just partying. Everyone's just having a good time. I really love that about my culture as well. Like when the partying and the joy is there, it's definitely there.
Yeah, you gonna party to the end of the night, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been trying to get that feeling again with like my own community. I feel like I haven't gone to those kind of parties since I was a kid. So that's why I'm out here being like I said earlier, Mr. Sonidero, just dancing because it's like really fun. I really enjoy just being out there and acting a fool, I guess.
No, it's music and dancing is like pair. It's a pair. It's a
Oh yeah,
combination.
gotta
And
dance
if
with.
you really, when you're dancing really for yourself and singing for yourself,
Mhm.
you're almost in your own world and you can care less. And then afterwards, people may say, "Oh, did you see when you did that?" And if you're really into it, you don't even know what you're doing. It just kind of like takes you
Oh
away.
yeah, you go into a whole different uh zone when I'm dancing. Like I'm like really just doing my steps and stuff, like wearing my botas and having fun. Yeah, and I love being hyped up. So
Me too. Trust me. I believe everyone should have a theme song that represent them in some kind of way. So
mhm.
I enjoy that. And before we get out of here, I have one, I won't say question, but we want to lead our guests into your current what do I want to say? Your current the emotional show is your current, what is it?
So the emotional show it's a exhibition that I'm
Okay.
part of right
That's the
now.
word I was looking for.
Yeah. It's inside the Barrick Museum at Yonovi. But if we're talking about exhibitions, there's actually some other ones that I'm part of. Actually, I think one just opened today because it moved. It used to be at the city of Las Vegas, but right now it's at the Mexican consulate, and
Mm.
it's about celebrations in Las Vegas. Um, and I have this really cool. It's like a cake topper uh, as a clown. I don't think I have one over here right now, but yeah, it's a little. If you know what those cake toppers are, that look like the clown heads. It's a
Yes.
giant version of that made out of clay. Um, so that's in display there. And at the emotional show, I have a self portrait. I've been really into self portraits
Is
lately.
that one with the bunny and half of your like
Yeah, it's in like
face?
yeah, it's kind of it's not as happy of a piece as the other one. It's like I'm on fire and then like cactus stuff on my head. Uh, but I think the exhibition that I'm most proud of, and this one I did do work for, but I also helped curate it. So like put it together and uh, select the artists, and it's a show that was in Reno for like a couple months. It was there in August, and then at the end of September, or sorry, it was in July. At the end of August, we brought it down here to Vegas, and it's
Mm.
currently at New Wu Art Gallery and Community Center. And it's a show of 16 artists, including myself and my other curator. His name is Cesar Piedra. And well, 17 artists because we have an exhibition within an exhibition of
Oh,
curated by um, one of the artists, and we were trying to show curation as an art form with that. And his name is Emmanuel, and the artist that's in that mini exhibition is from LA. So it's like really, um, there's a lot of tie-ins. Like I really wanted to have it be a lot of Nevada artists, but
mhm.
for the Las Vegas peeps, were like very inspired by LA arts. So it was really cool to have someone from LA be part of the show and like and she's really cool. I've since met her, and she's one of my favorite people already.
Oh,
Yeah, Christy Moreno, she's a really cool ceramicist. But yeah, that's the if I really wanted to talk about a show, I want to talk about that one because I it's been a long time coming. Like we worked on it for 2 years or so,
wow.
trying to come up with plans and getting artists. We did like studio interviews with every single artist, and it's a big show, and it's gonna close soon. It closes December 7th. Uh,
Okay, that's my son's birthday, and seven
oh,
is completion. So, what a favorite number.
mhm.
So, give us the information. So, if anybody, including myself, want to get out and see it, where is it located, and the time of operation, or just give us a website where we can go and get additional information.
Um, so I post a lot of stuff on my Instagram, and my Instagram is vaqueronopalero, which is like cactus cowboy. And it's VAQUERONOPALERO. So I post all of my stuff there, but if you don't want to do that, it's gonna be at New Art Gallery and Community Center. And let me pull up the address for that real quick. The reception is gonna be December 7th, 6 to 9 p.m. And it's no promises or anything right now because we're still planning, but at minimum, it's gonna be a great time.
Awesome.
Like what will constitute the great time? I'm not sure yet, but it will be a great time.
That's right. Speak
Yeah,
those things that are not as
that's
though they
right.
are.
Yeah, and the address for that is 1331 South Maryland Parkway, Las Vegas, Nevada 89104. Uh,
Awesome. And the name again, one more time of the place.
it's New Art Gallery and Community Center, and the name of the show is it's a fun one to say. It's really not supposed to be said, but let me just say it. It's Ihae Oix Desu, and you kind of have to come to the show to like get what that means and look at that work. But I promise you'll see a lot of great artists, a lot of big pieces, and a good time.
Awesome. Well, this has been amazing. Like, I feel like, yes, it's for my audience, but it's for me to dial in and see a different perspective and how an artist view life through music, through, again, we talked about the vendors, we talked about your art piece, we talked about some super cool lyrics. So I just thank you so much for saying yes and coming on to Message Reveal. I truly appreciate that. And before we get out of here, I usually give my little spiel. I talk about the journey and the destination. The journey is just as important as the destination. The journey is where we learn and where we grow. The destination is where we celebrate. I do believe we always need a spot to celebrate. But the key to it all is to get back into that journey and continue to learn and continue to grow. So before I get out of here, I always like to give my guests the platform to say any last little thing. If someone wants to get in touch with you or to reach out to you or commission you to do some art, can you give any more information? I know you did give your Instagram information, but is there anything else you would like to provide to the audience?
Yeah, if anybody wants to see more of my work, I have a website. It's Geo Uranda, and it's GeoUranda.com. So you can see my stuff there. I am pretty good about keeping it up to date, more so than my Instagram. So definitely go there, and you can see a lot of my work. But Instagram, it's mostly where I put the information of exhibitions and stuff. But yeah, go see me out there, and I hope I can see some of you or any of your viewers out at the reception. It's going to be a lot of fun. But thank
Awesome.
you so much, Halima. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on here and like have this conversation with you.
Oh, awesome. And I would say I don't believe this will be the last. So don't be shocked if I call you again and was like, hey, I see you got something going on. I want to see you back on, because we want to. I feel like the world has given everybody one lane. And in my world, it's 7 lanes. And because you're in lane number 2 or lane number 4, is nothing wrong with being in it. We just have our own lanes we like to be in. So I thank you for giving us your point of view, for sharing your perspective, your lens of life. Keep doing what you're doing. I may even reach out as we were talking. I'm like, I have an idea. I would like to collaborate on something. So don't be shy if I reach out and say, what do you think about this? So with that being said, before I get out of here, with my women, I bow to them, and with my men, I salute. So I salute you, and I thank you so much. And until next time, see you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Thank you.